Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is Producer Richard, and across from me is the Doctor himself.
Hello.
Oh, no.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, there you go.
Hello. Can I come too?
Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC while fielding questions from listeners like you.
Hello.
Hello. Anybody? Help. Oh, we got a review.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
This is number 75.
75. Keep it alive. Which is also, it's also episode 175.
You know, a lot of people think that 75 released coronavirus.
You can't just say that about everything.
Can't I?
Can't I? We got a 5-star review, number 75, from the American Apple website.
Apple.
Apple. You got $1 from Michigan.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. From Geist 01, Geist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Geist. Infinite Geist.
You trying to make an infinite jest?
So you get me.
David Feister Wallace.
Mushaboom by Geist.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What?
Another Geist song.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Geist 01 goes on to say, a great comic book podcast. I just discovered this podcast with the newest Robin episode, and I'm hooked. The hosts are hilarious and extremely knowledgeable. Give them a listen ASAP. Corey from Podcasting After Dark.
Thanks, Corey.
Podcasting After Dark.
Our podcast hosts are waiting for you. I'm up late and my Stitcher feed is empty. I need something to listen to.
I'm only taking calls. I'm taking calls from OnlyFans.
We get to the part of the episode it's like, all right, we're moving on from Reddit. We're going over to OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Here's a question from Jerkit 69420.
Take off your top. That's less of a question and more of a demand, but
yeah, put it inside. Oh, never mind. Sorry, that's a different episode.
Please sit on that birthday cake. Oh, I mean, if I was going to do pornography, I think that's the type of videos I would make.
Yeah, or like the balloon popping.
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, that's a little too jarring. It might scare me.
Come on.
That's too much.
Yeah, I don't think you're cut out for OnlyFans.
I'm clutching my pearls. This is too much.
You could do that.
Yeah. So here's seedless grapes. Don't you worry about that. Let's go on to the news. It's only one piece of news today. Patty Jenkins thinking ahead on Wonder Woman spinoff.
Yeah, I think there was talk that like conversations were being had about doing like an Amazon's spin-off movie.
Because she's been asked recently about doing Wonder Woman 3, and her response was, yeah, once Wonder Woman 2 is out,
yeah,
I'll then move on to this Amazon spinoff.
Well, I thought the idea was that maybe she would produce the spinoff, and then direct the third one.
I don't know.
I think it's
moving on by just like getting the project started.
I think it's early days, because we were also being told like a couple of years ago that like they're going to make a trench movie.
Oh
like,
yeah, I mean,
like we've heard that kind of stuff before. I don't know how
it still could.
And Amazon's movie is considerably more exciting than a trench movie.
I mean, for me, I'd rather the trench movie, but
would you though? That's like the thing you're most afraid of.
Yeah, but that's exciting. I know you don't understand the joy in things that are terrifying, but
no, I do not. Which is why we're monetizing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like an Amazon's movie would be neat. What would you want to see out of it? Would you want it to be like ancient times Greek mythology Amazons, or would you want it to be like that the Amazons leave the island and it's modern day and something else is happening, or like what would you want to see from an Amazon's kind of spin-off movie?
I mean, I definitely want to know the history of it. I mean, how could you not want to know where the hell they came from?
Like expand on what we were told from the first one.
Yeah. Ironically enough, actually, the episode we just watched of Supernatural deals with the Amazons. Telling you, they hit all of the same things.
Quick update. I'm into season 2.
Fucking right. 200 reviews and we'll do a Supernatural miniseries. You got to get through the fucking Lord of the Rings one first, but we're like 25 away from those.
I thought the Lord of the Rings one at 100 reviews was a miniseries.
Yeah,
I thought at 200 reviews we just start a Supernatural rewatch podcast.
Yes, that's exactly. I keep calling it a miniseries.
It's not going to be a miniseries. It's 14 seasons.
I know. I call it a miniseries so that it's easy for my brain to digest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a bit more Amazon's origin would be neat. There's a part of me that like kind of wants. I want to see like the Bonamigdal, like those Amazons that like break off from Themyscira.
Yeah,
they like forsake the Greek gods and they come under the protection of the Egyptian gods. They get like adopted by a different pantheon.
Oh yeah, let's get it. Let's get an Amazon's The Dark World.
Listen. I like Thor: The Dark World. Not better than most other Marvel movies, but it's still fine.
And not more than any of the other Thor movies.
Yeah.
But I
think I like it better than Iron Man 2. Let's put it there.
I mean, yeah. Maybe. I don't know. That's a tough one. Wire to watch. I like the electric powers. Those are fun. And fucking Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
Can't beat Sam Rockwell. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
We'll see if anything comes of it. Because again, I think they always this is, I think, how it works too. You throw ideas out, you start developing them, and then someone goes, nah.
Or somebody goes, the Wonder Woman thing did well. Can you do more with that Wonder Woman? And she goes, sure, I'll do an Amazon spin-off. And they go, cool. I'm going to go ask my boss if that's okay. I'll talk to you in 2 years.
That's true. I think there's a bit of that too.
Yeah. It would be cool as a TV show, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's almost a part of me that thinks the thing with, I mean, there's always examples that will refute things, but I think in general, you want to keep your core for a movie because you have limited time.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about a society, this big thing, unless you know for a fact you're getting movies, like Marvel now, forever just licensed to print money. You do whatever the fuck you want. Put as many lead characters as you want in a movie because
you're going to get more.
You'll get to see them again.
Yeah.
But I think if you're talking about like we want to get to know like 11 different people pretty well. I think you're right. TV is probably a better spot for it. I think that's why it makes sense that the Green Lantern Corps is going to be on HBO, like as a TV show.
God, that gets me hard as a rock. I can't wait for that.
That makes way more sense. Than a movie and having to be like, and here's Kilowog and Tomar 2 and like.
God, how goddamn good is that going to be?
Yeah. I mean, we sort of haven't heard anything about
I know.
I mean, listen, coronavirus has put everything on hiatus, I imagine, but I'm pretty pumped.
God, that was the biggest ball dropped in history of science fiction is fucking up Green Lantern. Because it's got space, it's got aliens, it's got cops, it's got
just
do a fucking procedural. Boom, you got a successful TV show.
It's got a weapon that can literally make anything.
Cop procedurals and fucking like medical dramas are the only things that are it's licensed to print money. Yeah. So you like, and then you add sci-fi to it. Like that's gold, baby. That's gold.
It's true.
That's platinum album, baby.
Baby.
Baby. So speaking of the Green Lantern.
Wow. Masterful podcasting. This is a fucking masterclass.
175 episodes.
We got to shoot your commercials so we can put your masterclass up.
God, it's true. Yeah. We'll make some good money out of this one. Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, so I can no, damn it.
Yeah. That's right.
Always a bridesmaid.
Now I don't need to have a podcast anymore. That's right. We're not talking about the Green Lanterns. We're actually talking about one Yellow Lantern.
That's right. We are dedicating a whole episode to Sinestro.
Yeah.
Thaal Sinestro. because he actually does have a first name.
Really?
Sinestro is his family name. Mr. Sinestro was my
My
father.
father. There it is. I was waiting for that. You can call me Sin.
Yeah, Sinestro, whose name literally derivative from the Latin word sinister.
Yeah. Sinestro.
Why don't we give him the most powerful weapon in the universe?
Yeah, I mean, he is the most interesting man.
Oh, Thaal Sinestro.
Zap, 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 zap. It's in space. It's good.
Was that your version of the...
Yeah.
like Caballero?
But he's in space, so he's...
Yeah.
That's how things work.
Nice.
My only real interaction with Sinestro has been one. I got a little bit in Earth 1, right?
Is he in Earth 1?
I can't remember.
I actually don't remember. It's been a while. We have to reread it anyway.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Thank God. And then from the movie, I mean, and he doesn't really become Sinestro till the end. So,
well, yeah, you see Sinestro as a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I mean, the brief synopsis is Sinestro, greatest Green Lantern, falls from grace, becomes their greatest enemy.
What if that guy's going to become a bad guy? I don't know. Why would you say that? I don't know. His last name is
Pencil thin mustache. Yeah. His name is Sinister.
And I'll get you, Green Lanterns.
He keeps saying might is right.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. Yeah.
I'm sure it'll work itself out.
Yeah, I'm sure. But what about you? What's your first interactions with Sinestro?
First interaction with Sinestro. Probably relatively late.
Mm-hmm.
Because even as a kid...
Like, when did he pop up? Like,
he shows up pretty early in the Silver Age Green Lantern.
Oh, okay.
Like in the 50s.
Oh, wow.
Like
okay.
That. But I think... But when the comics that I was reading that had the Hal Jordan, like the Space Cop Green Lantern in them, was all Justice League, and you didn't really see him.
Yeah.
And then my introduction to Green Lantern was Alan Scott.
Oh, okay.
And Sinestro is not part of that. And so I think it was pretty late. It might be like that episode of the Superman animated series.
Oh, wow.
Where he first shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And he shows up to fight Kyle Rayner. It's like it's a different sort of setup. They sort of blend what was happening in the comics at the time with the sort of classic thing. That might have been my first encounter with it. It probably was when I got back into comics, like as an adult.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I know who Sinestro is. It might have been the movie.
Yeah,
it might have been, or around that time, like when I was getting back into it.
Yeah.
Because I hopped back on with the New 52, and that's all about Sinestro becoming a Green Lantern again.
Oh, okay.
And then dealing with that. And that might have been where I got back into it. And then you go back and you read the old stuff, but it was probably relatively late to the game.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a lot of questions.
All right.
So we should jump into it. First, we got to go over to the Facebook.
Going to the face and the book. Going to the Facebook.
Feeling a little punchy today. I'm not like full, but I stopped drinking coffee like 3 weeks ago, and so I haven't really fully
no coffee, no booze.
Yes, that's right. Don't worry,
you're on a LaCroix cleanse.
I'm crushing. Look, I'm crushing Croix every day. Don't worry, we know what you're thinking. There's concern about Doc Mist. Do not fret, my pets. Yeah. We will.
Because this year's Doc Mist, we're doing ecstasy.
We just start fucking by episode 7.
Episode 7. Someone has never done ecstasy before.
No, I haven't. Why?
Next question.
We haven't even started the
next question.
So the first question comes from Adam Upher.
You're putting too much emphasis on it. Now it feels gross.
Damn,
You're saying Adam Upher now.
Upher, I barely know. Jesus, Doc.
Give you the old reverso. Oh, that's my dial talk.
Yeah. Adam might upper, but you're definitely a downer.
Oh.
That's what ecstasy's for. With him being the leader of the Sinestro Yellow Corps, who feed on fear? What?
The Sinestro Corps, who feed on fear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was just the way I read it.
That's all right. I'll help you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
You don't even have it.
It's gonna be a fucking Dr. Literacy podcast. I haven't had coffee in 3 weeks. I don't know English.
Hooked on Doctor works for me.
Hooked on Donex? No.
Oh, no.
That doesn't sound right.
What is he himself afraid of?
Right. So we know the Green Lanterns, that the green light, the thing that like comes out of their rings that's in the like lantern batteries and stuff like that, is like the concentrated total of the universe's willpower.
Yeah.
And each color of the emotional spectrum has a different emotion that it's drawing from.
Yeah.
And yellow is fear. Now, for the greens, it's your willpower. They say you have strong willpower. You have the ability to overcome fear. You are strong of will. You can be a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And then it's their willpower and they charge it up and all this kind of stuff. It does not track necessarily that the Sinestro Corps people are fearful. Right? It's not like you're easily scared. Welcome to the Sinestro Corps.
Oh, I know what ring you'd be putting on there.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? All I would need is just a constant stream of like scary video games, and I would be the most terrifying Sinestro Corps member ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be like, we can't stop him.
Yeah. There's a ghost one time jumped in front of him.
He literally always has his gun drawn.
Yeah. Check out Scaredy Guys on YouTube if you want to know where that comes from.
Yeah, that's a callback to a different series.
We know you all subscribe.
So that's not necessarily the case for yellow, for fear. It's what the ring says when it recruits them is you have the ability to inspire great fear.
Oh, so you're a scary guy.
Yeah. Or you're a scary guy.
Scaredy, not
you
not
make
a scaredy.
Others the scaredees.
Yes,
yeah.
okay. I am not, just because I am bad guy does not make me bad guy.
So, part of the Sinestro Corps thing, I think, is that they have to they have to master their own fears, and then they go on to inspire fear in others.
Yeah.
So Sinestro is great at that and using fear and being scary. But if I had to say, what is a thing Sinestro is afraid of? It's probably being forgotten, right?
Wow.
I mean, not necessarily in the sad boy sense, but in that megalomaniac sense, because he's I'm the one. I know what's right. I'm the greatest. No one's ever been.
Yeah.
No one's ever been greater than me. I was the greatest Green Lantern. They sent me to court. I've been treated very unfairly. I think there's an element of if he did not end up being the best, if it was conclusively proven that he was not good enough or not the best, that's his worst nightmare. I think that would be what Sinestro's afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. I can relate to that.
Quality, not quantity. Let's.
Now you sound like my wife.
Oh no. We have sex 30 times a day for 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's both quality and quantity.
That Flight of the Conchords thing. 1 minute in heaven or 2 minutes in heaven is better than 1 minute in heaven.
Yes. Next question comes from the most interesting resident.
Roland Sebas?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how you always get it and yet you're never certain.
I mean
that's just, I think that's you in general.
I always get it. I'm never certain. Ladies.
What a pickup line.
The most weirdly truthful and self-effacing pickup line.
But with the confidence that you're wait a minute.
The confidence of someone I should hate, but I feel so bad for him.
I'll give him a shot. That's where you live. That pity fuck.
Oh, come on. I'm a catch. I mean, it's a lot easier to catch.
I was going to say it's a lot to catch, yeah. That's right. Roland Sabas asks, with everything going on right now in the DC Comics multiverse and the upcoming 5G era of things, do you think that the version of Sinestro as Keeper of the Book of Oa will still be canon and come to pass?
Well, I mean, I'm relatively confident that 5G is not happening.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's getting everybody sick, so.
Yeah.
That's why Diamond Comics got taken down.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people say that Sinestro released 5G.
Would you... Right.
Just keep peddling conspiracies.
If it's all ridiculous, then none of it's true.
Yeah, that's the only way I can survive our real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure 5G is not happening. I suspect that the Sinestro Book of Oa thing is not going to... Book of Oa, for those that don't know or haven't heard of it before, the Book of Oa is sometimes depicted as a literal book, but it's essentially like...
It's a braille book of the Bible?
It's the history of the Green Lantern Corps. It's essentially the history of the universe.
Yeah.
And there are some chapters of it that are things like yet to come. They're like prophecy and that. So it's basically like...
The boy who lived.
And it's also like all the information that the rings can draw on. It's like everything that the Green Lanterns have ever known or done.
Oh, wow.
Is the Book of Oa. No. Sinestro as keeper of the Book of Oa. No, I'm going to say that's not going to be a thing.
Wow, that's quite the stance.
Because anytime it is like you mix it up a little bit, but like I just don't see what the staying power of that idea is. I suppose is where I'm coming from. Sinestro, he was their greatest lantern. We've already done the thing where he gets a green ring again after being their greatest villain, and a ring like selects him, and he ends up one of the greens again. I don't know why we have to keep bringing him back into that fold. I think he's evolved enough as a character, and he's developed enough as a character. We don't have to bring him back there to make him... He could still be a sometimes ally and things, but I don't think he has to be that entwined with the Green Lantern Corps anymore. We all
know that the keeper of the Book of Oa is Andrew Dice Clay. Oh,
good God. What an insane joke.
That's his biography. The Book of Oh.
What a bunch of disappointed nerds would buy that book. Who the fuck is Andrew Dice Clay?
The next question comes from the most interesting resident.
Oh, no. Andrew Delgado?
Yeah, why? Who else would that be?
I can't believe I'm getting this right.
You've never gotten it wrong.
Is that true?
Yeah, you've never gotten it wrong.
Wow. And I never will.
Prove us wrong, residents.
Go back and download all of the episodes. Prove us wrong.
Yeah.
Goose, those numbers.
Andrew asks, what allows the Sinestro Corps to power their rings from other people's fear instead of their own? Are they also channeling their own fears?
Right. So like I said, I think there's a thing in the Sinestro Corps, like initiation, when you're selected. They put you in this thing called the Fear Lodge. And basically you're like locked in there, I think you're locked in there with a ring with no charge. You have to face and master.
Sounds like me as a kid.
You have to face and master your own.
This don't fit on my fingers.
And in doing so, it will spark up your ring, and then you can escape. Mm-hmm. And some people just don't make it out of there. It's not like they're like, "Oh, well, we should let you out. You're not a great recruit. Sorry, thanks for coming in, though." They're just like, you die, and then they're like, find a new recruit. So I think there's a thing there where in order to understand fear, to inspire it in others, you need to understand it in yourself, I think is the idea, right?
Sure, yeah.
So by understanding, and it's not necessarily overcoming fear. That's willpower. That's what the Greens do. It's like embracing fear. That's what the Sinestro Corps does.
Hell yeah.
And I think the rings give them an ability in general to sort of tap into what your fears are. There's a bit of a psychic connection, so they could literally make constructs of the thing that scares you, which is pretty crazy and terrifying. And all of the colors just work differently, ultimately, is the thing. Not all of them depend on, like, they don't all operate in the same way. The Green Lantern one is like your will magnified, blah, blah, blah. But by the time you get to the Orange Lanterns, it's like, you could be a normal person. You put an orange ring on, it will bring out the greed in you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there are different mechanics to each lantern core. So, so the feeding on other people's fear and the inspiring of fear, like I said, that's the thing that powers the Sinestro core. It's not necessarily their fear, which would be weird.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of interesting, but weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the time you get to that version where it's like you are cowardly, you're talking about the Earth 3, like the polarized, like the flip morality.
Yeah.
Earth 3, Harold Jordan on that Earth is a coward. And that's what that ring looks for, is someone with not enough will to overcome it.
Oh, wow.
And then the ring takes them over.
Oh, wow.
So the ring is looking for someone with no willpower so that it can push them around.
White cheese.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Right?
Is that what I am to you?
Sorry, are you saying I'm the pushover?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just let that one go.
Wait a minute, I'm doing all the work. Oh, no.
Yes, Harold.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next question.
Yeah, how about we do that?
It's from the most interesting resident.
Son of a bitch. It's got to be Stephen Marion Almagro.
Yeah, obviously. Well, it's what I mean.
You know, I've never seen these three in the same
I
room
know.
before.
I know.
If you believe Roland Sebas, Andrew Delgado, and Stephen Marion Almagro to be the same person, hashtag one greatest resident.
Wow. Okay.
If you think they're separate people, hashtag
Or do you think that also
there can only be one greatest resident, and then we'll make them fight.
hashtag Robbie's just those guys?
Oh my god. We already have an Iceman Customs impersonator. Did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know what's happening.
Doesn't ask a question for 1 week and then he gets replaced.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cutthroat to be a listener and participant in this podcast.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, people will literally assume your identity to get the chance to write into us.
Little did they know, we'll take anything we can get. That's right. Steven asks, not really a question. Oh, so he doesn't ask a question. Steven states, not really a question, but could you recap the epic battle of Hal Jordan, Parallax versus a temporarily reinstated Green Lantern Sinestro during Emerald Twilight?
Right. So Emerald Twilight is that story in the early 90s. After the reign of the Superman and Superman comes back to life and all that kind of stuff. Coast City is destroyed during that time. And Hal Jordan is overcome with grief and fear. And what is later retconned is at that time, the influence of Parallax, the fear entity, sort of infects him. At the time, it was just Hal succumbing to fear. Like, that's literally all it was. And Hal goes, he tries to recreate Coast City with his ring, and the Guardians say, that's a selfish use of the ring. Don't do that. And he says, you can't tell me what to do. And he goes on a rampage, and he kind of destroys the Green Lantern Corps.
Jeez.
And he gets to Oa, because his plan is he's going to take the full power of the Green Power Battery, and he's going to rebuild Coast City, and no one can stop him. Which is pretty fucked up. And at one point, he's making this construct of Coast City, and a construct of his dad tells him he's not good enough. Which means he is making that, right? That's his worst fear.
Yeah.
And then his willpower makes it. So by the time he gets to Oa, the Guardians are like, well, this has gotten out of hand. This isn't good. Our greatest Green Lantern is turned against us. We can't act because we're Guardians. We don't intercede at all. So what they do is they release Sinestro from the power battery where he had been imprisoned. They give him a Green Lantern ring, and they're like, you want a chance to fight Hal Jordan? And they basically take their previous greatest enemy, turn him loose against their current greatest enemy.
Jesus.
So this fight, by the time Hal gets to Oa, he has like a bunch of lantern rings because he's taking them from the other members of the Corps as he encounters them and fights them.
Yeah.
So he's got all these rings. He's like all super powered up. So the first thing Sinestro does is he just goes like, you'll never know if you could actually beat me if we don't make this even, which is a smart move.
Yeah.
And Hal goes, fine. He just drops all the rings. He's like, let's do this. And they fight one ring for a bit, constructs, pretty standard kind of stuff. And then they just start fist fighting.
Oh, wow.
They just start like punching, knees, like kicks, all this kind of stuff. And Hal eventually says something to the effect of like, I should have done this years ago. And he snaps Sinestro's neck and kills him.
God.
And then he walks into the power battery, takes all the power for himself, becomes Parallax.
Jeez.
Years later, the retcon is that Sinestro planned all of this. Mm-hmm. He had Parallax infect Hal with fear. He had Parallax possess him. It wasn't really him dead or whatever. Like there's all sorts of sort of retconny things. But if you were reading it at the time, you were reading like one of the big 7 superheroes turn bad, murder his archenemy, and
jeez,
yeah. Pretty crazy.
Yeah,
it's nuts. A pretty brutal fight too, because just after that Sinestro fight, Hal's like, great, no one can stand in my way, and then Kilowog shows up and he's like, don't do it. I know there's still good in there. We can like work this out. And Hal goes, no, we can't, and vaporizes Kilowog, like his best friend, and it's pretty bad. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's awful.
It's pretty wild.
I love Kilowog.
Yeah.
What a bummer.
Yeah. He's a real Bullavax victim in that.
Are you proud of that?
That's a joke only for Green Lantern fans.
Are you proud of that?
I am a little bit.
Let's leave Facebook and head on over to Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah. First question comes from brand new podcast. There's nobody here named Josh.
I mean, that's a little suspicious.
It's also saying that
sort of feel like you don't have to say that.
That also makes me think that, like, is Josh Gill just like a construct in my mind?
I don't want to answer that.
There's no one here named Josh.
Yeah. If there was a horny lantern, then he would be like the entity of that for you. Yeah. Instead of Parallax, you'd be like possessed by the Josh Gill. You'd be like, now I am the Gill. I'm Gilled to the brim.
If I could just be filled full of Gill, I mean, yeah.
There's nobody here named Josh podcast.
That's right, new podcast. Yeah. And they ask, Josh? No.
Well, there's no one there named Josh. Why would you call them Josh?
Steve asks, not Josh. I know at least one of the things it's not. I feel like everything else stabbed in the dark. Yeah. Has there been a what if / Elseworld style story where someone with temporal powers went back in time to have, Gosgotha?
Gosgotha,
yeah. Not crash land in Korrigar.
Right. So, Gosgotha, basically, there was a retcon.
Is that when Tom Goss starts wearing black?
Yeah.
Gosgotha,
yeah. And he's also Italian. Gosgotha.
Yeah. What's this new outfit you're saying? Now my Gosgotha.
Our jokes are getting too specific.
Yeah. Just about people who've been on the...
They're for 3 people, yeah.
Well, that's always... I mean, that was just their fan base anyways, I thought.
So, there was a retcon sort of late 80s, early 90s-ish that basically made Sinestro's beginnings as a Green Lantern a mirror of Hal's. So in Hal Jordan's origin story, the Green Lantern Abin Sur is injured. His spaceship crashes on Earth. The ring selects Hal Jordan. He watches Abin Sur die, and then he becomes Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So in this sort of retconned new origin for Sinestro, he is a citizen of the planet Korrigar, and this Green Lantern named Gosgotha crashes, and he's severely injured. And the thing that he's fighting is coming after him, and he gives Sinestro the ring and says, you are healthy, use this, defeat the thing that's coming. Mm-hmm. And Sinestro takes the ring, uses the willpower, defeats the thing, and then he goes back to Gosgotha, and Gosgotha goes, great, now give me the ring back so I can heal, and Sinestro keeps it and just watches him die.
Jesus.
Like fucking Breaking Bad.
Oh,
He's,
yeah.
like just-
Jesse's girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
When Jessica Jones kills herself.
yeah. So it's it's supposed to be like a dark mirror, basically, of Hal Jordan's eventual origin. So that's who Gosgotha is. That's what that story is.
Okay.
I don't think there's I don't think there has been a story, Elseworlds or otherwise, where they go back in time with the explicit purpose of preventing Sinestro from ever joining any Corps.
Yeah.
I don't think so. There are some stories that deal with the time travel, and Sinestro's already I think it happened maybe during during that Booster Gold arc in Batman where he messes up the timeline, or it was in the Booster Shot one with Superman. There's a Booster Gold one where he goes back in time and accidentally gives Sinestro some ideas or something like that. Or he was in the Booster Gold series after 52 or something. Somewhere in there's one where that happens, but I don't know that there's ever been a time travel story where they explicitly go back to stop Gosgotha from crash landing on Korrigar.
And then Sinestro just becomes a high school social studies teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. Kevin, eyes up here, please.
Yeah. This is a pencil mustache of authority, and you will respect me.
I am your teacher, Mr. Sinestro.
God, how long have we been recording? Is it already morning? Because I heard the scream of a donkey. That's right. Next question comes from Braydon.
You don't even say cry of a donkey. It's a scream.
Yeah.
It's in pain.
Yeah.
Something bad is happening to the donkey.
Hey, a bray could be a cry or a scream. It's really it's however you take it.
Good God.
Braden loves it.
Well, yeah, he does. The most upsetting thing that's been said to me was him going was him saying that you made him sound cool by making him a screaming donkey.
Only in the morning.
I mean,
like a rooster.
I mean, Braden, you got to set your bar a little higher.
It's above this podcast. I always thought we were rock bottom for people.
Yeah. Oh, no, I was still doing heroin, but when I really turned my life around was when I started downloading a bunch of episodes of this podcast.
Yeah, that's when I really knew I had to get my life back together. I threw all the episodes in a trash can.
Yeah,
and
now
I never
I'm
looked
happy
back.
and healthy and doing more heroin than ever.
Thanks, Mark Maron.
What? Oh, it was a better podcast.
Yeah.
I see.
Braydon asks, why does Sinestro believe fear is best utilized to save the universe?
Right. So
What's his modus operandi?
it's not quite what MO means, but I applaud the use of Latin.
Oh.
So well done. I mean, the Sinestro Corps War arc really delves into this idea of fear versus will.
Yeah.
Really explores it because it's sort of the first time that we're starting to expand this idea of the emotional spectrum. Before it was just Sinestro's got a yellow ring. Like in the Silver Age, it was just and they exiled him to Quard, the antimatter universe, and then he gets a yellow ring. And yellow was the color green was weak against.
Oh, yeah.
It's all the subsequent retcons later that's oh no, yellow is fear and blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
And that's
okay.
why green is weak against it because they trap parallax and all this kind of shit was later. So in that Sinestro Corps War arc, Sinestro does talk a lot about the idea of the Green Lanterns being an empty threat. Because a big part of that is, up until a certain point, they are not authorized to use lethal force.
Oh, really?
So he says they're an empty threat. He's he believes that you can only impose order by people being afraid to
Get murdered.
be chaotic, right? So it's a very sort of fascist idea. And when he was a Green Lantern, that was sort of what Sinestro was doing on his homeworld, was making people afraid of him to impose order. And he was look, there's no crime, but it's also yeah, but this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So it's, he talks a lot about that. So he's come to the belief that if people aren't afraid, you can't control them. He sees it as a means of control. So it's not necessarily that it's the best way of maintaining peace, truly, but to maintain that artificial peace, the peace where because people are scared, that's what he's leaned on now. He has a speech somewhere in that arc too, where he talks about the idea that you can never destroy fear. That maybe you can put it aside, push past it or something like that. But it's like, it's always there. So he also sees the fear emotion as a more limitless source of power than will, I think, is the other thing too. Yeah. I don't know that I have too much more to it than that, but I think that's the idea. Now, like, people could argue those points with him, but I think that's what his perspective has become, is that he's like, you know, you rage, you can run out of energy to be full of rage. You know, greed is self-serving. It doesn't serve a higher purpose. Because Sinestro still sees himself as, like, he wants to maintain order and peace. He sees himself still as, like, that cop.
Yeah.
But he's going about it this, like, horrible, dangerous way. He sees all the other emotions as being insufficient. He sees will as being just not quite enough. And his ultimate quote-unquote victory in Sinestro Corps War is making the Green Lanterns authorize the use of lethal force. He's like, great. He says, like, I'm not against the Green Lantern Corps being the cops. I was against the way they were doing it. But now that I've scared you into using lethal force, sweet, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy for that. Which is sort of fucked up when you realize it. You know, he's used fear against the Guardians, who are supposed to have no emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
almost proves his point that fear is crazy powerful.
Whatever gets the job done.
Oh my God.
Do you want a piece of pie?
What?
Do you want 3.1415 slices of pie?
Okay.
Next question comes from Dorkaholics. I
was waiting to see what all of that meant. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's a drunk nerd.
Yeah.
It's the real stretch I'm making for that joke.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah. How many numbers of pi do you know?
3.1415926. I think someone can maybe try and correct me.
I didn't even know that. I knew up to 6, and that's basically it. All right.
Apparently, like, or at least it used to be, like, MIT's like football cheer was like,
oh yeah,
secant, cosine, tangent, sine, 3.14159.
So funny.
Which is very funny.
That's very fun. It's the lamest thing ever, but also, you see a football team?
Well, I mean, there's still a school. There's people that go to MIT that are not, like,
really
aeronautical geniuses. There must be an arts faculty there.
I figured it. Like, I figured they had,
it's not their specialization.
I figured they had Quidditch. Like,
they probably do.
Yeah, I mean, or like robot.
We made
battles.
a bunch of hover brooms, and
have you seen the like
yeah,
it's fucking real stupid. As someone who like loves all of that shit, that's real fucking stupid. I also think that Quidditch is a terrible game. So
yeah, tune into our Patreon episode from last week.
That's right. Hot takes all day long.
Yeah, we're talking about Harry Potter. What is Dorkaholics ask?
Hot take from that Zaddy Dumbledore. Dorkaholics asks, did any part of his character history get retconned after the New 52?
The Green Lantern whole part of the New 52 is sort of fascinating because almost none of it got retconned. In fact, almost none of it reset. It's not even like they did it over the same way.
Oh,
it's
really?
that it didn't stop.
Oh, weird.
Like,
I thought he became a Green Lantern.
Well, but that was set up right before Flashpoint.
Oh.
It's like the story just continued. It just picked up where things left off. But then they couldn't reference... Well, they sort of referenced, but couldn't reference Blackest Night. Because did that really happen? Could that have happened without...
Jesus.
It was like... That's part of the whole New 52 schlemazel, right? Is that it wasn't just like... We're starting over everything. It was like, oh, but we're doing some really good stuff here. Can we just move that in? And it was like, you probably could, but not like this.
No, not like this.
Not like this. So the weird thing is like Sinestro's thing basically didn't change at all. The retcons happened earlier. The retcons happened in the 90s where they introduced, or the 80s or 90s, where they introduced the idea that Sinestro had actually trained Hal Jordan. Because in their first appearances in the Silver Age, Sinestro was already a bad guy, already on Quard. And then Hal Jordan showed up, and then the Guardians were like, so, we have to tell you about this guy, because he's back.
Yes, he's back.
And it was
Back again. Yes, he's back. Yes, he's back. Yes, he's back.
Yeah.
Green Lantern's coming from right outside.
Yeah. Good God.
Someone wants to make that song. Yeah. 3 Green Lantern girls come from the outside.
Yeah. I mean, this has legs.
So did those Green Lantern girls.
Jesus. So, like, that retcon happened, 80s, 90s. And then there was, we're getting more retcons about, like, oh, no, he set up the whole Emerald Twilight thing. Like, he was in on it. And we get that during the Green Lantern Rebirth thing. We get the retcon about what the yellow energy was from Quard. It's it's fear. And then we're talking about the emotional spectrum. That just carried into the New 52. So, weirdly, nothing got retconned in the New 52 for Green Lanterns other than we can't specifically talk about a couple of things that happened that definitely happened to make where we are now happen.
God. Sounds like it's going to be my biography.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, that fucking answers that question.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's sort of weird. I mean, Batman was a little like that in that, we already had Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin, and Damian Wayne.
They're not getting rid of those characters
In New 52, but they condensed the time frame. Green Lantern did even less work. They were like, what if we just kept printing the comics we were going to print anyway?
What if we did nothing? Yeah. Hear me out. Hear me out.
I've got a crazy idea. What if we just don't participate?
Yeah. Trust me, it'll work.
And that was sort of the thing there. It was weird.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want no pigeon, except for I do want this one because it's Ryan Pigeon.
Nice.
Yeah, he's probably heard that his whole life. At least I was making a new joke.
No, that's not what we do here.
Yeah, we don't reinvent the wheel.
You should know better.
It's the lowest common denominator. We shoot fish in a barrel in this show.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And that there's no water in that barrel. It's just fish.
It's full of dead fish that we've already shot.
Yeah.
We're gonna shoot.
Well, someone else shot them, but we're taking credit for it.
Yeah. That sounds like us.
That sounds exactly like us. Ryan asks, on the buddy scale, how high up is Black Adam and Sinestro post Forever Evil? Also, is Sinestro's entrance in the Forever Evil the best Sinestro entrance? And if so, is it just one of the best entrances ever?
Right. So let's talk a little bit about Sinestro and Forever Evil.
Also, what's the buddy scale?
I think like as buddies.
Oh, okay.
So in the New 52, one of the first big across all the titles events that happened was this thing called Forever Evil, where
Forever Evil,
where the crime syndicate of Earth 3, that's the evil versions of the Justice League, invade Prime Earth, and for all intents and purposes, people believe the Justice League is dead. They've technically just been trapped in the Firestorm Matrix, but no one can find them. They don't know where they are. And the world is being ruled by the crime syndicate. And then working for them is the Secret Society of Supervillains, which are basically the villains of Prime Earth. And while this is happening, Lex Luthor is like, not on my watch. He's like, I hate Superman, but this is my Earth. Evil Superman also doesn't get to rule it. And so Lex and Bizarro and Captain Cold, this sort of ragtag group starts forming. Black Manta. Wow. And they start engaging with members of the crime syndicate. They're fighting Power Ring, the sort of cowardly Green Lantern from Earth 3. And Batman is the one Justice Leaguer who's sort of like around and survived. He has a Sinestro Corps ring. That's it that he had. And he puts it on and it runs out of juice. But before Power Ring can get Batman, Sinestro shows up because him putting on that ring alerted Sinestro, and Sinestro basically he just shows up and buzzsaws Power Ring's arm off, so the ring disconnects from him, and Power Ring basically goes "Thank you," because the ring can't control him anymore, which is a pretty cool entrance. So Sinestro then joins this ragtag group, basically the Injustice League. And Black Adam is also on that team. And they start becoming buddies in that event because they are both these sort of like rule with an iron fist. I want peace for my people, but like I'm going to do it my way, and my way is
I did it my way.
I mean, that's what Frank Sinatra was singing about. Really, was fascism.
Yeah. It's what most people don't know is the words right after that are or else.
Yeah. Yeah. So
they'll all do it my way.
So they reference the fact that they basically admire each other, like, just because of their approach to leadership and things like that. Black Adam and Kandak and Sinestro and Corrigar. And so then in Sinestro's own series, a little bit later, he's facing these beings called the Pale Vicars, who are trying to extinguish all emotion and stuff like that. And he basically gets Black Adam to come and help him. Black Adam goes to space with Sinestro to go and help him.
Okay.
And yeah, they become buddies. I don't know that it's been like followed up on since, but I kind of like them as buds. I kind of dig it.
Yeah. How high up on this?
I mean, we've seen so little of it. They're not up with like the top tier buds.
Okay.
Blue Beetle, Booster Gold,
Indica,
Green Lantern, Green Air,
Sativa.
Yeah. It does sound like I'm naming strains. But I would.
Yo, you got that Booster Gold.
I would say that they've got potential. I would say a Black Adam Sinestro friendship and like buddy sort of series has a lot of potential.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. If we saw more of them, I think they could be one of the greats.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm watching that Michael Jordan documentary.
Oh,
Speaking
yeah.
of one of the greats.
Last Dance.
So good.
It's on my list.
It's made me like want to start getting into basketball.
I mean, I haven't been into basketball for so long.
Yeah.
But I do kind of want to watch that one.
Well, especially, and then I just downloaded the Bad Boys 30 for 30.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. I've heard.
Shit,
yeah. It's supposed to be really good.
Yeah. Let's do it. The Dr. Hoops podcast.
Oh, yeah. So many fucking TARDIS nerds are going to be so disappointed.
I didn't see the PS.
Yeah. You said the Doctor Who? And what about the other Sinestro's entrance? Is that the best entrance of all time?
Oh, is that the best entrance of all time? Of any entrance ever? Probably not. I mean, it's cool. And it's pretty badass, and he very conclusively deals with Power Ring. Like, it's not a fight.
But he never,
Sinestro just wipes the floor with him.
He doesn't, kick a jukebox and a song starts playing.
Yeah, I mean...
No, that's a fucking...
The follow-up question is always, well, then what is the greatest one? And I don't know, but...
It was your entrance into this world.
Thank you.
I was talking to the Dirkaholics. Or Brian Pigeon, yeah.
Greatest entrance. Oh, shoot. I really don't know.
I hope you don't mind.
I
hope you don't mind.
I don't think it's the Sinestro one, though. I think there are probably better ones. I can't think of them offhand, which is lame, but...
How wonderful the yellow core is. Now you're in this core.
What? Why do you keep trying to make Sinestro parodies of songs?
Because it's an entrance. It's now you're in the world.
I see. Yeah.
Fucking keep up.
Oh yeah. I mean, God, you're just operating on such a high level of comedy.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I want. Let's leave Twitter.
I gotta say, Batman probably has better entrances in general. Batman's entrance at the end of the Super Heavy arc, where Bruce finally gets his memories back, and then Batman lands on the bat signal.
I mean, that's cool.
And then he says to Jim, "Who died and made you Batman?" Like, that's pretty dope.
That's a pretty good.
That's a good entrance.
Yeah, that's a great entrance.
Also, New 52 era, but that's a pretty good entrance.
Yeah, that's a good entrance.
Yeah, I'd put that one above the Sinestro one, I think.
Let's leave Twitter and head on over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram, take some questions and answer them.
This is confusing. Next question comes from There's No Josh.
Oh my God.
So not only is there nobody here named Josh,
There's just no Josh in general.
Josh.
I think they're confessing to Josh-icide.
If anybody's going to murder that ass, it's going to be me.
Oh my god, Jesus Christ. What the fuck? It's so aggressive. Good lord. You fucking maniac.
There's no Josh asks, is yellow really the opposite of green?
If we're going to like color theory, no, it is not.
No.
Red is the opposite of green in color theory. And even in emotional spectrum sort of talk, green is the balance. It's the middle. And then the further out you move, the more that the emotion controls you as opposed to the other way around. And I think the idea is also that they sort of are opposites of each other. Like yellow is on the one side, that's fear. Blue is on the other, that's hope. Those are pretty opposite things.
Yeah.
You think of a situation, do you expect it to turn out well, or do you worry about the worst possible outcome? That's hope and fear. That's basically opposites.
Yeah.
Then you move one out again. You get compassion as indigo and greed is orange. Do you care about other people? Do you care about yourself?
Yeah.
And then you move one out. Yeah. Is it hatred or love?
Yeah.
Like those are the opposites on the emotional spectrum sort of idea of things. Green actually technically has no opposite.
That's right.
But it has a weakness, and fear is a weakness. It's not the idea that they are 100% opposing, but it can undermine will.
Yeah.
Right? And hope can bolster will. If a blue lantern is in the presence of a green lantern, they both become supercharged.
Oh, really?
So that's sort of how those powers work a little bit. But yeah, color theory in the real world, red and green are opposites.
Yes.
Meaning that they are complementary colors, and if you were to mix them together, you would get brown. My mother is a fine arts major.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's literally all I've picked up. Don't ask me to draw anything ever. I'm a artistic disappointment.
Amongst others.
No. Mom? She doesn't listen.
Yeah. It's because you're disappointed. Well, light a fucking cigarette because the next question comes from Jack Stonewall.
Jack Stonewall.
Oh, hell yeah. The clock's ticking down, but no worry. Jack Stonewall's on the case. Boom. Boom.
Green Lanterns used to charge their will using the central power battery. Now they charge it just from Jack Stonewall. No one has more will than Jack Stonewall. In brightest day, in blackest night, I'll fuck whatever's in my sight. Let those who try to stop what's right. Give me the nuclear codes, Mr. President. I need them now. Full charge.
Jack Stonewall. Dun, dun.
God, what a badass. I hope one day to meet Jack Stonewall and he's like, hi!
Oh, top of the morning to you.
Oh, yes, very nice, very nice.
Jack Stonewall here.
Jack Stonewall is so much of a badass that he released all of his 7th grade poetry on the internet. He doesn't care what you think of him.
Jack Stonewall made Sonic pregnant on DeviantArt. Jack Stonewall
he didn't draw it. He is the father.
He got Sonic pregnant.
He got a fictional fan art Sonic pregnant. That's how much of a badass he is.
he aborted Tails.
Oh, Jesus. So dark. Why?
Jack Stonewall, that's why.
What is Jack ask?
Whatever the fuck he wants.
Sorry, sir.
Jack asks, can we talk about the alternative?
Dr. Literacy sound better all the time.
Can we talk about the alternative dark universe of Blackest Night and the living hell that is Black and White Sinestro? No real question, just love this abomination.
Right, so there's a series of one-shots that sort of took on...
That's all it takes, Jack Stonewall.
a series of one-shots. What was the thing from last week? You hear 2 shots. One is Jack hits you, and then Jack hits your kid. We've made him such a bad guy. So there was a series of 5 one-shot stories that were these like tales from the dark multiverse. And basically what they were is they were taking like classic events and then reimagining them as like these twisted nightmares where things went wrong. So there's an Infinite Crisis one, there's a Death of Superman one, there's a Nightfall one, I think Judas Contract, and then there was a Blackest Night one. So in the Blackest Night one, the premise is that in the actual Blackest Night event, Sinestro briefly takes the power of the White Lantern, which is the power of life. But then it gets separated from him, and then other heroes take on the White Life power, and they defeat Necron.
White Life.
I'm trying to be very careful about how I'm saying this. In the Blackest Night, in this Dark Multiverse version, Sinestro refuses to relinquish that power or share it, and so there's not enough people to fight Necron, and the Black Lanterns win. And Sinestro is so overcome by the fact that he failed, that he knows he failed, that he tries to use the White Lantern just to kill himself. Like, he puts his fist up to his head and like blasts through his own brain, but it's the white light of life. So he becomes the Limbo Lantern. He has a White Lantern ring that's sort of half keeping him alive, and a Black Lantern ring because he killed himself. And he's both. And he goes around kind of torturing the Black Lanterns by bringing them back to life, and then but he can only hold it temporarily, so then they die again. He just like constantly brings them back and they die again. And he is both alive and dead. He has one of each white and a black ring, which is sort of crazy and creepy. And in that story, he and Dove and Lobo and Mr. Miracle basically team up for a one last gambit to save the multiverse, and they don't.
Oh, one last gambit.
One last gambit. And and basically they don't. And he's the Limbo Lantern. He can't die. He can't kill himself, but he also can't bring anyone else back permanently. Wow. He is left in a world where he has to live with his failure, which, like I said earlier, is his greatest fear. That's the one thing that would like just chip away at his soul. It's pretty fucked up. It's pretty cool.
That.
Oh my God.
All right, let's move on to the next question.
Heavy pause.
Pregnant pause.
No.
I'm going to call this pause.
Thanks, Jack.
Next question comes from Earl Kababat.
Okay.
Who just simply asks, is Sinestro Zaddy?
I think we've created a Zaddy monster.
Yeah, I think we have.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I was definitively going to say no, he's not.
He's got major dad vibes, though.
I was going to say no coming into this episode. And then I reread Sinestro Corps War last night, like just for a refresher. Okay. And it opens with him just like naked, and he's got this like scar on his back, and he's like, but now I am fear. He's like having this monologue and that. And like, Sinestro's kind of zaddy.
Doctor likes a bad boy.
He's a thinner body type. He's more like a
Slender Man.
I think you'd call him an otter, in those circles. Yeah. He's not what I would consider to be a zaddy generally. He has some zaddy-ish qualities.
He can get it.
I think the way he's drawn in his solo series, his head isn't quite as like elongated, and he's not quite as thin. He's a little beefier. Yeah. That Sinestro is a little bit zaddy.
Yeah. He doesn't look like he's gonna write and direct Hairspray.
Yeah. What?
Slender pencil mustache.
John Waters?
Yes.
He directed Hairspray?
Yeah, he wrote and directed Hairspray.
Sorry. John Waters wrote the musical Hairspray?
Yeah.
John Waters.
Yeah.
Like the creepiest man ever.
Yeah.
Wrote Hairspray.
Yeah.
A beloved musical.
That's correct.
What?
Yeah.
I'm only finding out about this now?
Like after Pink...
From you?
Like after Pink Flamingos, too.
Oh my God. My wife's going to be so mad at me that I didn't know this. That's outrageous.
Isn't that insane?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Fun fact, though, Sinestro is not modeled on John Waters because he's been around too long.
Yes.
You know how like Constantine is modeled off like 80s Sting.
Sting, yeah. For sure.
So Sinestro is modeled off of David Niven.
Who's that?
He was like a British actor in the 50s and 60s. You would know him if you saw him. He's in lots of stuff. But yeah, it's modeled off David Niven. I would say Sinestro has zaddy potential, and obviously different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, he can get it. It just, I think he's not zaddy for me personally.
Yeah, I think that's where I think part of it is the pencil mustache.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually working for me, but
oh.
I'm gonna ride that stash.
Make a little note for myself. Give myself a pencil mustache.
You've got more like a pencil eraser mustache now. It's thick.
Yeah, erase my pencil mustache. That's what I want.
Next question. We're gonna finding Ben Forrester Stewart. Lock the door.
Lock the door.
Lock the door if you're coming in. And other famous lines from
Sean Connery in Finding Forrester is the most insane reference of any reference we've made on this show. It's so the Venn diagram of people who listen to our show who have also seen Finding Forrester is two separate circles.
There's circles that are just nowhere near one another.
They're on different graphs.
One day we'll bring you together. You crazy kids. Ben Forrest Stewart asks, what is the weirdest way you've seen somebody beat Sinestro?
Oh, weirdest.
The back of their hand, the wet towel, and a pool noodle.
Bag of sweet Valencia oranges. Big Crosby versus Sinestro. God, weirdest way to see someone beat Sinestro. That's odd. I mean, I suppose just by virtue of the idea of who was fighting, it was weird to see his neck snapped instead of them just fighting with their rings.
Yeah.
But that's not, I don't think that's what the question means. I don't know that I can think of a good example of Sinestro being defeated where I thought it was crazy, like very silly.
Yeah.
Outside of like maybe that very early era of Silver Age comics. I'm sure there's an issue in there where Hal beats Sinestro in some sort of crazy stupid way where he's like, oh, I just made a construct of a tidal wave and I made him think it was going to swallow it. Like, and they go like, all right, let's wrap this up. We got 4 panels left. And they go, like, there's probably something like that from back in those days, but the sort of modern version of Sinestro, I don't know that I've seen him defeated in a way that I thought was weird. It usually has to take a lot to overcome him. Yeah, I don't know that I have an answer for that one.
Yeah.
Other than it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody beats him.
Jack Sinestro.
Oh my god.
Sinestro Wall.
Sinestro Wall.
Yeah.
Minestrone.
Sinestro.
Yeah, there it is. Hey Doc, you just you built some garden boxes this weekend, right?
I did,
That's correct. Can I have a suggestion of how you can improve those boxes?
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
What if you put them in a block of ice?
The Iceman Customs.
That's right.
This is the funniest thing to me. Last week we got a question from Iceman 2681 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just convinced that that was on Reddit.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that's Iceman Customs.
Yeah,
He's
just on Reddit, yeah.
And then Iceman Customs was like,
who the fuck is that?
He's like, I missed 1 week.
And now he's back. And where's Iceman to be with a bunch of numbers coming?
Oh my god! Was it like an eclipse last week or something?
We saw through the veil.
Yeah, did they trade places briefly? And
the Iceman Customs asks, please talk about Sinestro and his daughter, Soranik. Natu.
Yeah. Yeah, so Sinestro has a daughter, Soranik Natu, who is a member of the Green Lantern Corps.
Oh, good. Christmas is going to be a little bit awkward.
Oh, it's so awkward.
Yeah.
She has been a member of the Sinestro Corps.
Look who's coming to dinner.
But even as a member of the Sinestro Corps, she wasn't evil. She is good. She's a physician. She's a doctor. She is the daughter of Sinestro and Aransur. And Aransur is the sister of Abansur, the alien that dies giving Hal Jordan his ring.
Okay.
So that's the connection there. Abansur and Sinestro were like great friends, partners in the Green Lantern Corps and stuff like that. And Sinestro basically married into the family, married Abansur's sister, and they had that daughter Soranik. And then when Sinestro was sort of, as a Green Lantern, taking over his planet and being controlling of his space sector and stuff like that, Aransur was like, this kind of frightens me, and gave the daughter away or ran away with her or something like that. And so Natu is like the adopted family's name. She would have been Soranik Sinestro, basically. Or Soranik Sur. I don't know in the alien cultures if you follow the maternal or the paternal lines, but
you don't?
Either way, Natu wasn't going to be her last name until she was sort of given up. So she's a physician. She has a weird relationship with Sinestro because obviously when she's a Green Lantern and he's in the Sinestro Corps, they are at odds. But Sinestro won't kill her, and he wants her to sort of see his way of things. And she does on occasion, quote unquote, join him, or actually really join him. But there's always this sort of thing where she is never fully as Sinestro-like as he would like her to be.
Wow, yeah.
And
kids disappointing
it's
parents.
this sort of like, they have this sort of like detente, right? Where like, she's like, fine, I'll join the Sinestro Corps. And she's like, but I'll do it my way. You know, there's a way to use fear.
She did it her way.
Or else. I think that's one of the more interesting relationships. A lot of Sinestro Corps stuff, I don't really care that much about. Like, there's some cool monster-looking things. There's a lot of creepy designs of Sinestro Corps members, but beyond that, I don't really care about them so much.
No.
You know, like, Carousel is the one that has, like, the 3 construct, like, hellhounds, so it looks like a carousel. Ooh. That's Carousel. There's Crib, which is the one that steals infants and, like, keeps them in, like, a rib cage on their back.
And then he shows you where the magic happens?
No. Yeah. No, that's
MTV's Crib.
That's Cribs.
Oh, okay.
It's a different
when there's more than one. Is that what happens?
You know, there are a lot of creepy designs, cool monsters, I would say, in the Sinestro Corps, but I don't necessarily think that they're interesting characters. Soranik Natu, as a Green Lantern or as a member of the Sinestro Corps or whatever, is interesting. And her relationship with Sinestro is one of the only ones other than Sinestro and Hal or Sinestro and the Guardians that I think is interesting at all. Like, it's weird. Sinestro, I think for a long time was sort of like not an A-tier villain, even though he was like an archenemy. He was, because he just doesn't have that many relationships that are meaningful with other characters. I don't really care about him and Kyle Rayner. He calls him Alley Rat. Like, he doesn't even see them on the same level, right? And
Street Rat.
And so I was reading Sinestro Corps more, and I had that song in my head because of that. He's like, Alley Rat. And I was like, I don't buy that.
No.
If only they'd look closer. Like, Sinestro and Hal is obviously the relationship. Sinestro's contempt for the Guardians, that's a relationship. A relatively new sort of buddy thing with Black Adam. But other than that, there's like not a ton really that's worked on.
Yeah.
Sinestro and Soranik is another relationship that feels solid and strong and interesting and worth developing and exploring. So very, very cool character that way. Yeah.
Nice. All right, let's leave Instagram and head on over to Reddit.
Where everyone's nice and no one's ever mean.
Yeah, they're nice to us, apparently.
They are, weirdly.
Yeah, we really turned around on Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all right, Reddit.
You know what? I think I'm ready to trust again. Thanks, Reddit.
I think everything's going to be all right, Reddit. That'll do, Reddit. That'll do.
Oh yeah, we're deep into the George Miller thing on Blank Check right now.
Yeah,
right?
that's learning a lot about Crowley. It's very interesting. Yeah. And a lot about Miller. Jesus. Yellow Lantern Adam asks a question.
Wow. I mean, this was your moment. Shoot your shot.
Huh?
Yellow Lantern Adam waits for the Sinestro episode.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Sorry. I said that to you.
What's
and
this
you
episode?
completely glazed over.
I thought you were talking to me like I missed a joke, and I was like, "What? Where's the joke?"
You did. You did miss the joke. The joke you missed was the joke you were currently missing.
Oh, I thought it's for him. It's episode.
God, we got to get you off these LaCroix and back on coffee and booze.
I'm a shadow of who I once was. YLA asks, "Hey Doc, what's your favorite Sinestro moment? Also, who's your favorite Sinestro Corps member?"
Ooh. So we talked. Well, let's start with the back half because we were sort of talking about other members of the Sinestro Corps. We've talked. We also talked about like Despotellus, the sentient virus.
Despotellus.
You definitely made that joke.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. Well, how could you not?
The sentient virus. That's a cool member of the Sinestro Corps. That's the
he's
one.
a sentient virus.
That's the one that Liesel Pun ends up
yeah.
defeating.
Oh,
Yeah, your boy Liesel
If
Pun.
I could get a fucking Liesel Pun toy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I would.
Yeah, but to scale.
Yeah.
Microscopic plushie.
Maybe I've had it the whole time.
Maybe the Liesel Pun was the
friends we made along the way. God damn it, I knew it was coming. As soon as I said
Recycle those jokes, baby.
Yeah, dead fish in a barrel. They're dead. They're not.
Well, that's me slapping them around.
Oh. The weirdest way I've seen someone beat Sinestro.
What are other cool? I mean, Arkillo is a cool Sinestro Corps member. He's
the remix to Ignition.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Surviving Arkillo is that's a tough book to get through. Fuck. He's basically the Kilowog equivalent on the Sinestro Corps. He's the trainer.
Yeah.
But he's also like giant the way Kilowog is, but he's got all these fangs and stuff like that. They have a cool fight between themselves during the Sinestro Corps War. Arkillo's pretty neat and a recurring, like relatively major Sinestro Corps member, high ranking.
Yeah.
He was part of the New Guardians and stuff like that for a bit. He's pretty neat. I do like the design of ones like Crib or Carousel. I think the design of Lissa Drac is kind of neat. She is the keeper of the Book of Parallax, which is the Sinestro Corps' version of the Book of Oa. She's also from the same planet as Shadowlass in the Legion of Superheroes. So she, so that's kind of neat. Other cool Sinestro Corps members. I mean, they have notable members that I don't necessarily think are cool. Like, oh god, I'm gonna mess his name up. Amon Sur, the son of Abin Sur, the I guess nephew of Sinestro.
Oh, somebody really wanted to go to fucking lunch that day. Jesus.
He is in the Sinestro Corps. Definitely does not deserve to be there. Or doesn't deserve a lantern ring in general. Favorite one is probably something like Arkillo or something like that. Just because he actually has a bit of personality. There's more to him than just showing up and looking scary.
He believes he can fly.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Sorry. But
Oh.
Coolest Sinestro moment.
Yes.
I think there's a really, really great Sinestro moment where I'm probably not even going to remember when it happens, but it's in that sort of relatively recent, the Jeff Johns kind of era of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know me, I'm bad at remembering what issue things happen in, but it might be at the end of like GL Rebirth or something like that. But Hal and Sinestro, like Hal says something like were we ever friends or whatever? Because, you know, they had the training day relationship
Yes.
sort of thing, right? And he says, like, were we ever friends? And Sinestro says, that's the saddest thing of all, is we're still, like, we are friends. Sinestro, like, he respects Jordan.
Also, King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
There's like, I've completely lost the timeline when that happens. It literally could happen anytime. But it's such a cool moment. I really, really love that one. It's, Sinestro is a bad guy, but he's not
A bad guy.
he's not a force of evil like Joker
Yeah.
or Darkseid.
Yeah.
He's more like a Lex, where he has
He thinks his bad intentions are going to get good things happen.
Exactly. He has a specific mission. He's the hero of his own story.
Yeah.
And because of that, he has room to have this sort of complex relationship with Hal Jordan, where it's not just twirling his thin mustache.
Yes.
It's like, no, like, I respect you. I wish we saw eye to eye. Like, in Sinestro's perfect world, they would still be working together.
Mhm.
And there's something so kind of interesting about that, I think. Yeah, and we've talked about it before. I think those are always the more interesting villain relationships. It's what makes Two-Face interesting, is that he has this history with Batman and Gordon. They used to all trust each other. I think that's a pretty cool one. I like that one.
Nice.
When was that? A sort of other version of that is in the New 52. Briefly, Sinestro is forced into the Indigo tribe, and that's the Compassion. And you learn that's really like, it's a prison. They take like the worst killers in that, they force an Indigo ring onto them, and then it makes them feel empathy and compassion, and they
feel terrible for all the things
they did. And there's this like shot of Sinestro's face, and it's like a tear is coming down his face.
Jeez.
He's like, Jordan, I'm sorry for everything. Like, that's a different version of it, but another kind of neat little hint at the complexity of Sinestro.
That's cool.
I like. Yeah,
that's awesome. Next question comes from the other doctor. It's Dr. Who.
Hooty hoot.
Woo-hoo. Who asks, if you had to make one construct to terrify the other, or it's construct to terrify the other, what would you create?
Oh, so each other.
Yes.
I guess I'd create a construct of like a kraken or something that lives at the bottom of the ocean. Oh, maybe can I just make a construct of a never-ending chasm?
Then can I
put you at the bottom of it?
I was going to say, can I make a construct of a never-ending escalator then?
Oh God, yeah, yeah. I mean, we basically have opposite fears.
Isn't that weird?
Your fear is how deep things go, and my fear is how high they go.
What are the fucking odds?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that at all.
No.
I thought about it for a second.
Let's make a pact never to do this.
Deal. When we get those rings.
Yes, which we will.
Of course.
Because we're great at inspiring fear.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Subscribe to Scaredy Guys on YouTube.
Yeah, we really wield fear there.
Yeah.
Last question comes from Ravana. Ravana.
Ravana. Do 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 do.
Ravana.
Do 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 do. Ravana. Do 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 do.
Ravana asks.
Ravana.
Who asks if you could change Sinestro's hairstyle and mustache, what would you give him?
Oh, okay. So, what would you do? Yeah. What do you think? There's a better look for him, or do you think there's a look where you would find him more attractive?
Well, I mean, those are two very different things.
I think he's got a good look for him.
Yeah.
I
think he could pull off a mohawk.
Oh, okay. I always see him as like a guy that would wear a suit.
Yeah, but now imagine if that guy
he also had a mohawk.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the facial hair?
Like a Fu Manchu.
I mean, it's not that different from what he's got.
No.
Just longer.
Yeah.
Just grows it out. You just want him growing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I want to give him like Anakin Skywalker in episode 3 hair.
Oh God.
Like those kind of luscious locks. I think give him that. And then you just give him like 5 o'clock shadow. Yeah.
I want him to have like a bowl cut, but with like a Hitler mustache. One's so disarming and the other one's so threatening.
Right, yeah. I want him to have like mutton chops that connect to a big bushy mustache.
Wow. Yeah, okay.
And no hair anywhere else.
No. Anywhere
No
else.
eyebrows.
Anywhere else.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think he's got pencil thin pubes.
But straight as an arrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just go to either side.
I think the hardwood matches the drapes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's the last question.
All right.
You know what that means.
Oh, fuck.
Do you really forget?
I did.
Every week. It's so... Oh, God. So, that means we're doing Dial Doc. If you don't know Dial Doc, somehow this is your first episode you're listening to this podcast. Well,
welcome.
I'm surprised you listened to this far.
Welcome. I'm sorry.
Goodbye.
And here we go.
Yeah. Dial Doc is, it harkens back to the Dial H for Hero comics of old and then renewed and rebooted, in which a character randomly stumbles upon a payphone, dials hero, and becomes a never before seen hero or villain if they dialed evil. This was a way that comic book writers could introduce new characters submitted by fans. They obviously couldn't get their own comic books, but through this process, we're able to get an issue. Doctor.
Okay.
Are you ready to provide your Dial Doc?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
Mine is called Mother Clucker.
Did you listen to the new Kevin Smith, like the new Fat Man?
No.
Beyond? That literally Mother Clucker comes up on that.
Oh, really?
That's very funny.
Oh, no, I haven't listened to that.
Okay.
So Mother Clucker is basically like they get the powers of poultry. They can lay eggs and the eggs can explode like grenades. Like they have to like lay them and know what like the fuse they want for them. Like you can't alter it after, but you say like, I need like 5-second fuse. You lay a 5-second fuse egg. Throw it. That's it. That's literally it.
I feel like you've done that before.
Exploding.
You have, because you did
eggs?
one where it was different eggs. Yes, where each egg did a different... Yeah, you 100% did it.
No, I did one where the different colors of milk out of a cow did different things.
No, residents...
that was Roy G. Buff. He had all of the colors of the rainbow as different milks that bestowed different powers. Please use the hashtag rotten eggs if he's how dare you,
if he's done that one before, or if I'm incorrect, then
or hashtag that's no yoke.
I was gonna say excellent, but yeah, that works.
Oh fuck, I like yours better.
All right,
jumping in. Stupid doctor, stupid.
my Dial Doc this week is a new lantern ring.
Ooh, all right.
This is Disgust.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
We're drawing from the Pixar school of emotions.
Yeah.
So what color is Disgust?
It's like a brown ring.
Yeah.
Like a
brownie green.
Yeah.
Like unwell
yeah.
poo. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you know quite well. Disgust has the ability to obviously use the power of disgust to make people sick to their stomach and they can't fight you.
Like literally physically sick, or can they also be like emotional disgust?
Yes, that as well. But you can produce things that will induce disgust.
Right. Oh, so your constructs are limited to that?
Yeah.
Now, is it drawing on your own disgust, or is it like fear where it draws on the disgusts of others? Can you know what disgusts other people?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it. Very nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I like that one.
The Disgust Lantern. Why is this necessary for the universe?
It's just some like omnipotent being being like, yeah, now make them fart.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna make him like scratch his ass and then like grab some carrots off the tray.
Oh my god! oh, I can't do this.
Very nice. Well done.
We would love to hear what constructs of characters you residents can come up with.
That's right.
All you have to do is use the hashtag DialDoc.
That's right.
To send in your characters, or you can send us a question for next week.
Yeah, next week's episode, we are talking 60s Batman.
Oh my god, with a very big guest, hopefully.
Very special guest.
Unless that person bails, and then we won't.
Well, don't say that. They won't bail.
Yeah, no, they're a great person. They wouldn't do that, but just in case.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so...
Because they're too big for this podcast.
They don't need to know.
Yeah, don't listen to this.
Edit this out.
Oh, no.
Oh, my... What have we done?
Backtrack.
Yeah, we're talking about 60s Batman.
TV shows, movies.
The movie... The show, the tie-in comics.
Yeah.
Any questions that you want to send about 60s Batman, send them in.
Hell yeah. You can do so through our various social media platforms, like our Facebook,
Dr. DC Podcast,
our Twitter,
at Dr. DC,
our Instagram,
Dr. DC Podcast,
our TikTok.
I don't know what that is. We don't have one. I'm never going to post there. Did you see I posted an Instagram story today?
I didn't. I haven't been on Instagram all day.
It took me 20 minutes.
Oh, Grandpa.
I was making it, and then I was like, how do you post it? But you have to go back out after you make it, and then you post it?
No, you don't?
I had to.
There's just a share at the bottom.
Well, no, because there's that, but I was adding text over top of it.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
But when you go in there, then the share button thing at the bottom isn't there anymore. I don't know how I did. I fucked it up clearly, but I had to actually end up like...
You just do, like, you write text, and then you just hit done, and then send to.
Oh, that didn't work for me. I hit done, and then it was just, like, there. Like, there was no send. I had to hit an X in a corner. Listen.
No, it's
the last time I'm using Instagram stories.
No, it's the children who are wrong.
I hate it. It doesn't make any sense. It's useless. That was one time, and that's it.
No, it is the children who are wrong.
I feel like that increasingly every day.
We are also on email.
Dr. D, yeah, but that's where we'll stay. DrDCpodcast@gmail.com.
And physical mail, because no one sends letters anymore.
Yes, P.O. Box.
We're also on Reddit.
Yeah, you can wire us money. Western Union.
Send it to my grandmother. She cashes all my checks.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, what did you say?
Subreddit?
Oh, yeah. r/Dr_DC.
That's right, of course. And you can always give us a phone call.
That's right. 208-917-3238.
The doc phone is open, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, our podcasters are waiting for you.
Wide open. All night. Also, not only can you talk to us online, but you can also go and buy merch.
Buy our merch.
On our website.
drdcpodcast.com or .ca.
That's right.
And don't forget about our Patreon. Patreon.com/DrDC. There's a $5 level and a $7 level.
Dinero.
There's a full bonus episode every week. We also have video content. You get to help decide themes for episodes. There's merch discounts, all sorts of fun stuff.
That's right.
And we're coming up to Fanagar.
Oh my God.
Like fan month in June, and there's going to be even more stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be fun.
You're going to have all to say because we're going to do it your way.
Or else.
Or else.
And last but not least, not last.
Certainly
Give us reviews. We're at 75. If we get to 100, we do the Lord of the Rings miniseries. If we get to 200,
a whole fucking new
just
podcast.
Start a whole new podcast where we rewatch all of Supernatural.
God, and
we're both already rewatching.
Yeah. God, I want it so bad.
So that's that.
Give it to me.
Send those in on iTunes or Facebook or anywhere else. If you send it anywhere else,
just send us a photo.
Send us a screenshot or something because we won't be alerted.
Send us a photo of your computer and then
send us your social security number.
Yeah, and then mail it to us.
Yeah, to our P.O. Box. And then now, last but not least, we've talked a lot about fear this episode.
Yes.
If you want to see it in action, go
That's
over
right.
to YouTube, find Scaredy Guys. That's our YouTube video game show.
You want to see what fear can really do to people when it's used properly.
Where two people who are not gamers play games that scare them, specifically scare me. And we've done Last of Us. We've got a series on Resident Evil 2 remake and more coming. So go check it out. Subscribe and like videos and things like that.
Subscribe to us for sure. Yeah.
Send comments. Tell us what you want us to do for future games.
Absolutely. Yeah. Scaredy Guys on YouTube.
That's right.
That's it for this week.
Adios.
Ciao, ciao. Great Lakes away. This was a Brain Freeze podcast.